right.
Paula Gloria, and again, you have the number?
Yeah, 212-982-0021.
Okay. Then thanks so much. Have a nice day. Also, another information. The Nine Truths conference in Arizona last year was followed up with a Homeland Security terror drill in the same hotel. So we think that the Nine Truths movement in Arizona was also infiltrated, high at the top. And Karen Johnson may be deceived into a cooperation. I'm not saying that, I'm just arguing there's a lot of trickery going on.
So the conference was held at the same hotel?
At the same hotel in Arizona, Chandler. So obviously there are ties between Homeland Security terror drills and the very same organizer of a so-called Nine Truths conference last year in Arizona.
Were they held at the same time?
They were some weeks away, actually. Some months, to be honest. But,
okay.
Okay, what's your name?
My name's Karen.
Yeah, so you Karen and you work with Karen. It's nice.
Yeah. Good for confusion. Okay, I'll let her know and she'll give you a call back.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thanks for calling. Bye-bye.
12 p.m. EST here, our time, New York. Alright. See what happens? Because if not, you have to think about gassing the truth links even faster. Anyway, this is Nico Hitler, as usual in a grumpy mood. But anyway, planehuggers made me skinny, but no planers made me ugly. You want to have the nice Nico back? Then do something. Speak out against Alex Jones and the criminal agenda of Prison Planet, Tavistock and company. See you around and have more fun with Paula. She's a much nicer character than me.
And I fell asleep in Gramercy Park, and that's why I'm late for the stream. It looks like it's 12:05. So, Rabbit Hole Central.
Sleeping in the park again, huh?
You can see the color on my face.
Well, it's a great day for you.
Oh my God, it was so nice. It was
sprightly with that yellow blouse.
Yes,
good.
I got this from the garbage can at M&N.
Wow, right.
See, your donation dollars at work.
Yes, very good, very good. High fashion model, yeah.
Yes.
You had the program with Dan on today. That was interesting with George. That
Yes.
was good, you know?
I think this speaks so well of Dan Coughlin. I mean, he really seems to be a man of the people. And I also appreciate how Ugly George helped him come up to speed on the 9/11, even though he likes to avoid the topic. He said that, I want you to know that my Goyles didn't have computer-generated breasts. Those were real breasts.
Is that another program? I didn't hear that on the program today. Do you have
okay.
or something?
Then that's going to be tomorrow.
Yeah, that wasn't on today.
Okay, good.
Talking about Chuck Dolan and the beginning of Access and all that.
Right.
It was interesting, and Dan was really good, and so that was a good program. Yeah, I think Coughlin's good. I think Eminent's good, and things are moving along.
And
so I was just calling in, as is my
Thank
one
you.
noon. It's just become
Thank you, Harold.
like a conditioned response, like a dog, 12 and knock I go.
I know, and more people are starting to make a tab for Rabbit Hole Central and to kind of keep, sort of keep in touch. Some people can't make it at 12.
I don't know if you're aware, but I talked to my son. It's birthday time. Both my son and my daughter were born this time in May and so forth, so we're in touch and everything. And we went on the net, and he was looking at programs in, I just wonder if you're aware, you may be, but because you're way ahead of the curve as far as I'm concerned. I'm just lumbering along. But when you do YouTube, and have you ever done this? And if you do, you'll be aware of it. But when you go to YouTube, and then you put a film up on your computer, and then if you make it full screen.
Yes, I do that.
Got that? Yeah, and then they got a full screen. You can see it pretty clearly. And then they got over on the left side, at the bottom of the bar, they got a little 3 triangle thing.
Yeah, I'll show you.
And you've done that then. And then you touch on that, it's got all kinds of links. I never knew that. He called that to my attention.
You mean at the bottom here?
Yeah, no, at the bottom of the page, once you're full screen, scroll over a little bit to the left of the screen.
Let me see.
At the bottom of the... no, when you actually got the image up on the screen, dear. Get the image up on the screen full... if you get the image... a YouTube image and make it full screen.
Okay, like that.
Is that full screen? Are
you
on now? I can't see. I see a
Yeah.
picture of you. But your stream program back from YouTube and make it full screen. When you do it full screen, over to the left, on the left side of your screen, you'll see a little 3 dots. They form a triangle.
Oh, well, I can't.
If you click on that, it's got your program, and then it's very nonlinear. It's got all kinds of links that are linked to you. I don't know whether it's from keywords or not, but it's an amazing thing.
Right, this is it, right? Right here?
Yeah, and then if you click on that, doesn't it have a lot of links?
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Now you got all these links, and those are links that are linked into your program, and if there's something you're talking about Fuller, it's got a link to Fuller, it's got a link to other things. I suppose that's set off by I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, that is fun.
You bounce all over the place because it must be something, I don't know if that's done by MNN, or if probably not. I guess that's done by YouTube. But talk about nonlinear. You can bounce all over the place. So you're watching something. You just click on one of those little, bubbles, and
I
then
know.
you get linked off into other programs that are kind of related to what you're saying.
Right,
You're
right.
talking about Rosenberg or
Exactly.
Marshall Rosenberg, and you're talking about it. They got you, and then it goes to Marshall Rosenberg.
Exactly.
Go to Buckminster Fuller if you want, or something. If you're talking about that, if those are keywords, I guess
It depends.
by keywords.
Yeah, it depends on how you put in your tag words at the bottom.
I
But
think it's based on keywords, and I
Yeah.
don't know. I haven't been able to figure out how it works, except it's not just things that are on your. I don't know how they set that up.
I'm going to show you how they
It's
do
not
it.
linear, because you can just bounce all over the. It's going to get the attention span down to about a nanosecond because you're bouncing all over the place. So it's hard to get any concentration on a long-winded dissertation that anybody's putting out. But had you been aware of that?
Yeah, I'll show you.
I see. Yeah, I figured you would.
No, watch.
Yeah, I didn't know that. My son pointed it out to me. He just discovered it as we were looking at a thing. So I just thought I'd pass it on.
What you do is you go. I'll show you. You go into. You go into these tag words.
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
See, like right here. Let me show you. Right here. This is what the search engines pick up.
Yeah,
It's can you see this?
Those tags, yeah.
These tags. This is something I did with Alan. These are people from Scottsdale, Arizona, People Unlimited. And they're talking about physical immortality. So I put People Unlimited, physical immortality. Otherwise, up here in the description, it's random. But the tag words mean that you want the Google spiders to pick up these words for sure. So I put in physical immortality like that.
Opposed to I just found that really interesting. I mean, just as a media thing, because you can go.
Yeah.
They're not just at random in terms of everything that's out there, but they do have some sort of a connection, I guess, according to what the tags you have on the video. And it's just done autonomically or automatically, and it goes all over. And then you can follow those tags, and it's what it is nonlinear.
Right.
Because everything's interconnected,
Right,
but anyway,
right.
but there does have a certain focus on whatever the program you're playing, whatever it's saying.
Right,
So
right.
I just found it interesting. I sort of assumed you probably knew that, but I didn't know if you did. I thought I'd tell you. Because I found it really fascinating.
Well, I'm going to try to call back that lady again from yesterday. And she was on Alex Jones.
What lady from yesterday?
The senator from Arizona on 9/11 Truth. She was on Alex Jones. And, we want to give her what we feel is superior information that will lead to getting more people all of their needs met.
Yeah, you didn't, she didn't get back to you yet?
No. So I think I'm going to say goodbye to you now. And I'm going to give her a call. And thanks for calling, Harold.
All right, so we'll be in touch, and keep up all the good work, and happy sweet springtime.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, and if you want to come by, I'll take you into the park.
Well, I got a bunch of things going. I got a million things
It's
going.
so beautiful, Harold. They've got red daffodils on the corners of the park.
Isn't it reassuring? I can remember one time in the spring upstate when there's all this nature around you and everything, and I was laying on a grassy knoll, or something, and I all of a sudden burst out into just laughter
No, isn't it wonderful, Harold, how we can kind of connect with nature now and then? Like yesterday, Rosalie Grable and I went up to Spanish Harlem because she wanted to see where Edna Cintron was living on 116th Street, you know, the lady waving from the hole at the World Trade Center. So we went up, and just as we were approaching Maloney's Bakery, I think that she used to own with her husband when she was working down at the World Trade Center part-time, there were this shower of little seed leaves that were twirling around from the tree in the wind, and the children were laughing, and she got that on video, and it was such a sweet moment.
It's magic. It really is. It's just everyday life.
Right. It's just, and then people say there's no nature in Manhattan. I mean, it's just a matter of opening your eyes, and you.
You got my link I sent you to Black Athena, right? And
no,
the
I didn't.
idea of Martin Bernal, and you said it'd be good to try and look at that video of Molly's, because I guess that goes back to Nubian or ancient.
Yes. Can I come over and watch it with you and Margaret if you?
Well, let's try and set that up. Yeah, it might be good, like we did with that other thing.
Yes.
But I mean, Bernal was really good. You know, who's going to win today? You got your finger in the air. Who's going to win in Indiana and North Carolina? Do you think? Or have you been paying any attention?
I don't know, but you almost said Kentucky, and it turns out that Nico Haupt has some family through his grandfather that was here in America, and they live in Kentucky. And since I made my cellular fortune in Kentucky, or I got the license for Bowling Green, my business partner, Buck Lou, who's a little eccentric, he loves to drive back and forth across country. And he was so sad when I got a job at the hat shop because it meant I couldn't just pick up and go across country.
Yeah, right.
But I'm going to see if Nico, Buck, and I can go down to Kentucky and see if we can dig up these relatives. I think it'd be a load of fun.
But on that thing of Molly's thing, that Sphinx, or the secret of the Sphinx, or that.
Yeah.
Are they relating it back to Nubian influences early in Egypt, much earlier than they thought?
No, Harold, they're not even saying. What they're saying is just water erosion. The water erosion on the Sphinx shows that it's much, much older than our history says, because you can they have a way of telling when the Sahara was very wet.
Yeah.
And it was a long time ago.
Yeah,
it was a really long time ago.
That's the water that Muammar Gaddafi's talking. It's under the Sahara Desert, huge, vast reservoirs of fossil water.
Well, you know, Gurdjieff used to have what he called pre-sand maps of Egypt, pre-sand. So that was interesting. Gurdjieff, Ouspensky and In Search of the Miraculous. Oh, this is a picture of Robert Patterson. And Robert Patterson is one of Molly's ancestors who was a pioneer in Dayton, Ohio. And I always kind of like to meditate on this guy because I think it was perhaps his son-in-law who was a really good translator with the Indians. And can you imagine how heartbreaking it must have been to make treaties with the Indians and always be breaking the treaties?
I don't think we kept a single one.
And yet you have that term Indian giver. I mean,
that's a tribute to the PR.
Exactly.
How they can just twist everything around.
Yeah.
They can just make what is black, white, and what is red, green, and whatever they can in the public consciousness.
No, I know.
So there's all this. But anyway, I was just interested in that Martin Bernal is a real scholar, you know, and I remember that book, and it came up from another program I was doing and everything. I sent you something else, I forget. Oh, that was the thing from, did you get the link to Rodney Shakespeare?
Yeah, I did, but I haven't had enough time.
That's another thing. Yeah, you got all kinds of things going. Well, everything's going along and everything, so you're on to something else. You want to get on to something else. So
well, let me,
you look great in your daffodil-colored outfit there.
This is something...
So say hello to everyone, and we'll get on, and we'll be in touch, and keep up the good work. Did you hear the news that I told, it's relevant, particularly to me, that the fellow up there, I forget who it is, the guy in charge, he said that they have now ordered the 4 DVD recorders, and they might
that's
very well
nice.
be in by the end of this week.
Oh, that's great.
Studio and the Open Studio at MNN, so that we'll be able to make DVD copies as we're doing the program, and one could then, we'll finally get it around to where we'll be able to give one to the guest, because that's really good for
That's great.
our people are very interested.
Harold, I'm running out of tape, and I want to, you know.
Go.
Okay,
We'll
thanks.
anyway, that's good news. And
Okay.
we'll be able to submit, one last thing, we'll be able to submit within maybe a month.
Do is I got this email that says, "You're a Fed and a provocateur. Your operation has already been exposed. You are a traitor to this country. You will reap what you sow." So I want to consider a few things here. First of all, when you say that somebody is a Fed, doesn't that mean federal? And so federal must mean that you're working with the government. And I think it's very important when you are trying to do healing that you want to heal in such a way that you have to bring out the poison, the disease, the issue. You know, that has to come out somewhat. The healer can take on a lot, and I think this is the most profound understanding of what Jesus and other masters did when they have that capacity to shed great blessings and to bring healings. Somebody has to carry the imbalance. But in general, I would say you want to be careful not to kill the patient. So I remember listening to Harold Channer talking to a guest that had been a long-standing guest of his, or he'd known his work for decades. And the person was saying it might even have been a photographer in Vietnam, but I'm not sure. And the comment that came across in this conversation that Harold had was, it would have been unthinkable decades ago for people to express such dislike for their government as they do today. And so here we have this email coming into me saying that I'm a Fed and a provocateur. I totally fess up to being a provoker. I definitely like to provoke and to poke around at what I feel is seething below the surface, and thus the seething, not seeing a healthy balance and light of day, is causing imbalance and disease. But I don't think this label is being given in that kind of way, but I'm certainly open to more information about these labels. Let me go on again. He goes, your operation has already been exposed. I would like to ask, who has my operation been exposed to? I'm very interested in that bit of information. Going on, it says, you are a traitor to this country. So now, as I said to Harold, I like to hold before me models of great people. And this is an ancestor of Molly Cheshire. His name is Robert Patterson, and he is either the father or the grandfather of John H. Patterson, who started National Cash Register. I think a big co-opting of PR has gone in the name of getting people to dislike corporations, and Robert Ashford, being kind of an Ivy League, Ivy Tower academic type, was just innocently going through how capital could be distributed and people could become part of corporations. They could have part of that power. And as Marshall Rosenberg said, the purpose of a corporation is not to make profits, but the purpose of a corporation should be the same as the purpose of a human being, that if human beings all have the same needs and we all have a need to contribute, then a corporation should just have a giant need to contribute. It's the collection of all the people in it. So when it says that I'm a traitor to this country, I would like to think that I consider models of those who've gone before me, who've made this country great. And what I like to meditate on in the case of Robert Patterson is he lived in Dayton, Ohio, when there was tension between the Indians and the white people, the Westerners, or the ones coming over from Europe. Now, had we had a more skillful strategy of communication, perhaps the two cultures could have come together. We not only would have lived in harmony, not that one had to decimate the other for the sake of survival, but we could have been both more successful at survival for having had the benefit of different inputs. And so finally it says, you will reap what you sow. Well, I certainly hope to be able to reap what I sow, because I have managed to gain the attention, the good attention of a lot of viewers out there who leave very thoughtful comments. as well as what I consider great masters who I have sort of laid my case before them. And I think I was able to plead the case well enough to get some feedback from them. So now I'm going to see in the last minutes I have if I can get Karen S. Johnson, and I might call We Are Change Colorado after that. Oops, that means somebody called me, but I'm on a roll. 926. If they don't answer, I'll move right on to We Are Change in Colorado.
Office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 to and 1 to 5. We are unable to take your call right now. Please leave a message at the sound of the tone, and we will call you back. Thank you.
Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or hold for more options.
Yes, this is Paula Gloria from Farther Down the Rabbit Hole. I'm also the director, one of the directors of the Concordia Foundation. I called you yesterday about your work with 9/11 Truth, and I see after I had placed the call and was waiting for you to return the call, you went on the air with Alex Jones. Now, I think it's very important to know that there are different aspects of the truth movement, and my aspect is one that I feel is the most efficient to get the most needs met. I would very much like to be able to talk to you. I'm at 212-982-0021. And maybe we can go into this really urgent and very important topic more deeply. So thank you very much, and I await your call. Bye. And now we will call We Are Change in Colorado. 720-261.
Hello.
Yes, this is Paula Gloria with Farther Down the Rabbit Hole. I would like to talk to whoever's in charge of your public relations or who leaves info at wearechangecolorado.org.
I'm definitely one of the founders of the We Are Change Colorado.
Oh, great. What's your name?
It's Joshua.
Joshua. Do you know my work, Paula Gloria? I work with Webster Tarpley. I've done 9/11 Truth for about 3 years here in New York.
I am not a heavy researcher.
You're not a heavy researcher? Don't you think it's important to keep learning?
Oh, absolutely. To be honest, I've only been awake to what's been going on for months. So,
You've only been what?
I'm daily bombarded with so much information. I'm ever learning.
Are you guys doing information packets to some of the people in in political office? Like they're doing up in Canada. You remember when the member of parliament Fujita in Japan came out and told the Japanese parliament all about 9/11 possibly being an inside job?
Yes, absolutely.
You're aware of that. I think he sent around about 170 packets, and it was really cool on YouTube because he went to the actual mailbox and he put them in, and he edited it in a way that really gave a feeling of the amount of energy and work that went into it.
Uh-huh.
So are you doing any of that there in Colorado?
We're handing out thousands of DVDs. Mostly what we're specifically doing mostly is getting out to the general populace and the people. Out every month and getting DVDs out to people. But we've got a lot of things going on. We've got a few different film projects going on. We're sending a crew of people to the big convention in New Hampshire in a couple weeks. And we're getting some more interviews with some people for our film and everything.
Joshua, I'm familiar with We Are Change. I've had Luke Radowski, Sabrina, Matt Lepasic on my show. Sabrina and Matt were so masterful.
Sure.
In confronting Giuliani.
It was great.
But see, I'm having a little problem today because I started to discover that we saw cartoons during 9/11. We didn't see real airplanes go into the buildings. And that troubles me greatly. You know why, Josh? Hello?
Hello.
The reason it bothers me is because part of the sort of hangout theory about what happened says that the controlled demolition in the airplanes meant that there were stand-down orders. If there were no airplanes going into the building, then there would be no air traffic controllers that goofed up that were getting stand-down orders, and then you won't be laying the blame at the wrong feet. So I think that punishment and blame never works. Even in the case when you find the person who did something wrong, I think the greatest teachings throughout history have said it's about compassion and forgiveness. Have you ever heard of any of this?
As far as your view with the not being actual planes?
The no planes theory, oftentimes when you say it, what people hear is you're saying that the buildings didn't come down. That's not what I'm saying. And they're saying
right,
that...
no, I understand that, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm also not saying that people didn't die, and I'm not saying that their deaths shouldn't be honored. I'm just saying I think it's very, very important that research is a daily process and that people are encouraged and not discouraged from considering whatever line of reasoning and then being able to come together and share. You know, so you know that I got a comment from info@wearechangecolorado.org that says that can I read it to you, Josh?
Sure.
Okay, it came from info, and that's why I can see you're obviously not the person that wrote this.
No, I don't do the website stuff. I don't have time to keep up with all the websites.
Yeah, well, you know, I really feel your sincerity, but what the comment says was, you're a Fed and a provocateur. Your operation has already been exposed. You are a traitor to this country. You will reap what you sow. Now, that's so mean. And it doesn't seem to me that if I express my views, I should be thwarted from a group that I've promoted. You know?
Man, your phone connection is very bad.
Okay.
Are you on a cell phone or?
No, I'm not. But I've got another call, Josh. Can you pass that on to Colorado, and I'll try to get back with you guys tomorrow?
What was your name again?
Paula Gloria.
Paula Gloria.
Okay, I want to catch his call. Bye, Josh.
Okay.
Bye. Rabbit Hole Central. Hello. Well, I lost the call, but you know what? I'm actually out of time anyway. So thank you so much for joining me farther down the rabbit hole, and for staying tuned, and for leaving comments, and for those of you that are the artists and are mashing up, God bless you, because when we start to get information and energy from all over the world, that, you know, maybe we as Americans are only seeing certain perspectives on things, your help is so invaluable in widening it out. And sometimes, you know, when the comments get really intense and bad, it is nice now and then to have a pat on the back.